You know, Joe, I didn't realize until I read your story that that Carey Island Port City was so expensive. It was like 200 billion bucks, and you actually went to see them. I mean, like, does anybody know why this thing is so huge?
Kong Cho Ha tried to explain it lah.
Tan Sri, who you went to go see, yeah?
but I don't think he did a good job. Because I mean, 200 billion is still massive, lah. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And in Carey Island, Klang, it's not like a city center or something like that. But again, he says it's for the future, it's not for now.
But did he justify it or not? Because when I read it, he said that, look, it's not just for the port, it's including everything around it as well.
He tried to, but it still sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, so when you tried to get him on the details, that was what also struck me, because what details did he give?
Nothing much. He just said basically that Sime Darby has to run the whole show. And that is one question mark, of course, because why would Sime Darby want to run it?
Why you say that? Because Sime Darby is probably better known for like plantations. Port,
yeah.
But port is part of their operations.
Very
isn't it?
small, very small. I think what their market cap is something like 58 billion. So when you compare it to they sold 50% for 39 million ringgit. So it's like it's nothing much lah,
But he certainly has a grand idea about what it's going to be, right? He was talking a lot about, it's going to encompass this, Malaysia needs another port. Does Malaysia need another port?
Okay, if you see the World Bank, they talk about Carey Island and Pelepas. Pelepas is already being done.
Yeah, of course.
And then even in the master plan, the GHK Orion one, that was in 2010, I think, they talk about a third port in Port Klang.
All right.
So eventually Carey Island will have to be developed, So it's just a question of when. But when you put a 200 billion price tag to it, it's like, of course, there's a lot of distrust because of PKFZ and other things,
Actually, that's what struck me, because when we were reading the whole thing, I remember the PKFZ saga. It stretched on for years. It was litigation. Is that why we have this inherent distrust of such, price tag aside, inherent distrust of such big kind of port projects? Because it was a mess. It's fair to say it was a mess, wasn't it?
It was, but you look at it, if he came out and said we're going to develop Carey Island without putting a 200 billion price tag, it's fine, But because he put that price tag there, it came under a lot of scrutiny.
Is there a chance this could be another PKFZ?
Depends on how it's managed. And PKFZ, a lot of money was made from land sales. Sime Darby owns the land. So it can be controlled, I guess. But he says that Sime Darby has to find the right partners, or else the same thing will happen again.
You actually asked Sime Darby, but Sime Darby, I suppose, is a listed company.
Non-committal, they won't say anything. A listed company, they can't say anything.
Okay, that's fine. But he was very, when you interviewed Tan Sri, he was very, it comes across on the pages that he was very gung-ho about this. Was he?
He started off very aggressive.
Yeah.
Saying, this is why I wanted to see you all to explain. I'm very passionate about this. But halfway through and towards the end, he was, I think, made it seem like Sime Darby's show, not his.
But he's the chairman, isn't he?
Yeah, they oversee the port development, but that's about it. He said, they have the draft, 18 meters, which is pretty good. They need breakwater, so it'll cost quite a bit. But the 200 billion, I don't know where he got the figure from. What I found surprising was he doesn't have a copy of the World Bank report. He never read it seems.
All right. But he seems to think that it's going to be good. When you asked him what good is going to do for like Malaysia, he did say that it was something necessary. Why is this necessary? That's the thing. I can't get across.
That's the problem. Now you've got Westport, it seems, I'm not sure how true it is. We hear they've got a proposal in to develop another additional 15 million TEUs at their own cost,
All right.
So, why are we going to do this 200 billion thing, and Westport should have a first go at it,
But
at their own cost,
they're doing it at their own cost. This one will be, let's say, Carey Island. Where will the money actually come from to actually fund this 200 billion?
Some of it will have to be government funding, but the rest, they have to find it, I guess.
When you asked him about the partners, he was very direct and said that, look, I didn't mention the partners, I didn't mention the name, but who was allegedly the talk about the partners were?
MMC and the Chinese group.
Which of course he denied.
He says no, he says it's big enough to have many partners. But what we hear is MMC is there and Chinese group as well. MMC would want to control the operations because they are a big port operator, top 10 in the world. The Chinese group, I don't know. They'll probably build the port and have some stake in it. Sime Darby, because you don't want to pay them and take the land, so you'll give them equity probably. They'll have a small stake.
I keep coming back to this question because, as somebody who's just reading this, is this just going to be good for the country?
We need a port, but we don't need a 200 billion development. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
So you might as well just let Westport do their 15 million thing. But eventually you will have to develop Port Klang. Carey Island. And if you look at it, like if you were to build KLIA today, it costs you so much more, So perhaps maybe you should just get it done, but the whole city and all that, we better plan it properly,
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.